Hey everyone, I think we're ready now for Alex Ferrari and his team. They are here to watch On the Corner of Ego and Desire. And if you've been to Sundance, this is gonna quickly become your new favorite movie. If you've never been to Sundance, this is a completely accurate way of expressing exactly what it's like to be there. What is it like to be in Park City at Sundance? What is it like to be there as a filmmaker? What happens during Sundance? Get ready. I'm bringing on Alex Ferrari and the cast of On the Corner of Ego and Desire. Okay, you have gone to Amazon Prime. You've bookmarked it. You're ready. It's on my iPad. We're all going to watch it together. We're going to get a running commentary from Alex Ferrari and the cast. Let me bring on Alex. Dude, so happy to have you here for this special
episode.
Man. Oh, man, thank you so much. This is great, dude.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm excited, dude. We were talking about this for a few months now. So, and funny enough, I have that shirt.
Oh, do you? This is from the 2007 Sundance.
I have that specific shirt, and I wear it when it's freezing cold out.
Well, dude, before we talk about the movie, real briefly, I want to talk about Indie Film Hustle, which I kind of think like we were talking about this earlier today. We're kind of like sister sites in the sense that like we have very similar missions, but we're covering different things. And you go into such granular detail. That bulletproof screenwriting thing that you do is one of my favorites.
Thanks, man.
It's a podcast and a YouTube. You've had some amazing guests lately. You had Oliver Stone on, and your book. Can I plug your book for you? Can I?
Yes. I shall.
You have one? Okay.
Of course.
This book, Rise of the Filmtrepreneur, is cutting edge. If you're a filmmaker, if you're thinking about being a filmmaker, or if you've made films and you're like, how can I make this game work where I can make a living as a filmmaker? You give the no bullshit advice in that book. I love it. I think I might have given you a quote. Did I gave you?
You have, sir. You are the first quote in the back of the book.
Oh my God. Okay. I read an early edition of it, and then I also listened to an audio version. Right? Mm-hmm. Like there's an audio
book.
I'm very well listened. I will say I'm very well listened, very well rounded that way. But that book is phenomenal, and I mean, look, we're all here to support independent film. What you did with On the Corner of Ego and Desire, which is literally, you said this today, so I can't take credit for this. You said you've made a Christmas movie. This is a movie. Yeah.
I think I kind of realized that that every year now. This was released last year. I shot it in 2018, and I waited 2 years to release it because of 1 year went by because I had to wait to submit to Sundance to see if I got in. Then the next year was just kind of like waiting. And they're like, oh, well, let's wait till Sundance comes and then we'll release it then. So I released it last year. And then this is the first year after it released. And I'm like, I think that I have a seasonal movie now that every year people around the Sundance time would want to watch this thing. And I've heard that from people who are like, oh, it's that time of year again. It's like, so I'm like, I've created Elf, but for film festival movies.
Well, no, it's true. It's sort of like one of those, like Die Hard comes around every Christmas, right? Like people get in that argument. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. It's like, sure, but this movie definitely, if you're going to Park City, I can see people, it's timeless in that sense because I'm going to I think my first Sundance was 96. Okay.
Wow, yeah.
But you've seen it change a lot. If you've got the 07 sweatshirt here, then you've seen it change a lot. But the sort of core of it is, noob filmmakers descending onto Park City, not knowing what they're doing. I mean, you captured all of that perfectly with this film. I mean, I watched it with my buddy, Bobby Schwartz, who's a filmmaker, and the two of us are like laughing our asses off. Like just there's really just some lines that go underneath where they're just sort of, you're on to the next thing. I mean, parts of it remind me of like a Robert Altman film, right? Where you are introduced to a bunch of characters and you're kind of floating through the world and all this stuff is happening and people aren't listening. They're conversations, but some people aren't hearing what other people are saying. It's really clever. And I don't really know. I know we did a podcast on it, but I don't know a lot about how you made it. And I know you're going to reveal those secrets with us tonight. Are we ready to bring on the cast? You're amazing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If they're sitting waiting, then yes, let's get them on. Whoever's there.
Let's get them on. Let me butcher their names as they come on. Rob Alicia, Sonia O'Hara. Good to meet you. I've seen your movie like 10 times.
Oh yay! That makes me happy.
Oh my God. First of all, I fell in love with this film just from the beginning. And also that one shot, I was so excited, that shot where you're standing, Sonia, your character is the Egyptian. Yeah. I know we'll all see it and you'll get to comment on it, but I can't wait for that.
That's my favorite moment in the film.
It's so great.
Look up at echoes and
it just captures that that passion that people have, when they go to Park City, when they go to Sundance, and when there are. I mean, I've gotten emotional every year I go, and I always say goodbye to Sundance.
Yeah.
And it was great because, I mean, we'll talk about it during the movie, but I had never physically met any of my cast. We never met. So I called up, the story goes, I called up Rob because Rob was, a fan of Indie Film Hustle. I had him interview me he actually asked me, can I interview you for your podcast? Because people want to ask questions about what you do. I'm like, all right, sure. And then Rob and I became friends. And when I was casting this whole thing started, I think, with my producer, Adam. We had the idea probably, I don't know, September, October, maybe. We're like, okay, we're getting ready to go to Sundance. What should we do about doing some promotional stuff? And I'm like, hey, why don't let's make a movie? And then he's like, what do you want to make it about? I'm like, 3 filmmakers trying to get their movie made, obviously, and chasing the producers. So I started reaching out to my contacts here in LA, which there's a few actors here in LA. And I reached out to them and I started talking to people, and it was hard to get anyone to commit to it. I even had one actor who was a bit more higher profile, and they literally looked at me and they're like, when I told them how I wanted to shoot this, they're like, no, dude, you're going to get me arrested. And I was like, yeah, this is not the movie for you, dude. Mm-hmm. So literally, I think probably a month before Sundance, I call up Rob and I go, Rob, I want to cast you in my movie. And I never met Rob. I seen his work online. I was like, I think you'd be perfect. And then he's like, oh my God, that would be awesome. And then I think it was, if I remember correctly, maybe a week later, I called you up. I go, Rob, I need some actors. Do you know anybody? And Rob, you could take it from there.
Yeah. No, it was. I always thought the casting process of putting a film together is just so fun. Much like Alex and Sonia, I'm also a filmmaker. And when Alex was like, hey, I need to cast some people, I was like, this is awesome because, if I get to work, also with people that, I'm familiar with and have chemistry with, hey, it's all the better. And then I'd connected Alex with Sonia and Randy, and he loved them. And there we were months later, just in Sundance. And I think, Sonia, for you, was it your first time as well? I know it was my first time.
It was my first time in Sundance. Yeah. It was this surreal thing all at once of getting there and not really having to act, with those initial moments of everything was really that amped up, and I was that genuinely excited. I'm not as obnoxious as Julia, but there is a true line of me being as excited and geeking out about being at Sundance.
What was brilliant is this was the pitch. I'm like, look, guys, I don't know if this is going to work. But at the end of this whole thing, you in 20 years will have a story about that one time you made that film at Sundance. And that was the pitch I gave them. And they were all like, we're in. So we flew them out, and I don't know what they were expecting. I told them, I'm like, look, we have a really pimped out place on Main Street where we're going to shoot some stuff as well. And I don't think they really got it, but I actually filmed it. I filmed them walking in to the place for the first time. And you see their face just holy, they were just so in awe, because the same way I was. And this was Adam Bowman, my producer's condo that he has there. I was the same way. I'm like, oh my God, it's like this insane, multi-million-dollar condo where we all stayed and shot and ate and did everything else that we did.
Because normally if you do like a micro budget indie film, you don't get these lavish accommodations. Like I've done Mumblecore before, and I go in and you're like staying on like some dude's like couch, and then I walk into this place and I was blown away. So that was really exciting.
It was so awesome. And then we met, and then we sat down and started working out the characters and where we were going to shoot and all that kind of stuff. And I had such a good understanding of Sundance that I knew where we were going to shoot everything and kind of constructed everything. But these guys really brought so much to their characters. I gave them a seed and they just kind of ran with it, and they just started working with themselves. And it was just remarkable to see it. And then, Sonia, sorry, it's confusing sometimes. It's a merge of the two. The stuff that started coming out of her mouth, I swear to God, I was just like, what is going on? Like that some of the improv stuff that it was so amazing. I mean, the one line that I swear after I yelled cut, I'm like, I want to punch you in the face. It was just so, I told her that.
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh, sorry, Sonia. Sorry. What did you say? Stepped on what you're saying.
Oh, I was just going to say that I thought of Alex the other day because I finally watched Yojimbo on Criterion, and I was like,
well, I feel like I've met Julia. Like I've met that person.
We all have.
Every year I've met multiple Julias at Sundance. Very naive and sort of like, making stuff up on the fly and, being caught in those kind of crazy situations. But also I find it's kind of endearing, I think it's really that your character was very endearing because I know that character. I mean, that's, wide-eyed, never been here.
Right. And still like ostentatious and cocky enough to think that they can blend in, which was my favorite part,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, we've got Rob's dad is watching.
Yeah.
So there you go. Which I just want to remind everybody, you can post your comments and questions as we watch the film. I think we're getting ready to watch the movie. Are we ready? Is the audience ready? And you're going to have to give us a countdown, Alex, of when to press play. I've got the movie all queued up and good to go.
Yeah, everyone got it queued up. We can rock and roll whenever the MC says to go.
Wait, we have another guest. Randy is here.
Hey!
I'm gonna move.
To be fair, I threatened Randy, and if he didn't show up, he would be dead to me and never work in this town again. So apparently it worked. A pleasure to see you, sir.
Hello, good to see you. Oh my God, I haven't seen Sonia in it's been at least 36 seconds minimally.
Well, to be fair, Sonia, I think Sonia's running CAA, or is it Warner Brothers? I'm not quite sure which yet.
I'm pretty sure she's running the entire industry. Last I checked.
I think so.
I'm so sorry. So. And Chris, nice to meet you. I'm Randy.
Good to meet you, dude. I've seen your movie many times. This is awesome. I can't wait to watch it now with the whole gang. The whole gang.
Yeah. The whole gang.
Yay.
Nice. Thank you for watching. Did you like it?
I love this movie. We wouldn't be doing the watch party if I didn't like it, but it's also perfect thing of like, if you've never been to Sundance, you've got to see this. And if you've been to Sundance, it's even better because every cliche thing that happens to people in Park City during Sundance kind of happens in this. I mean, I love that aspect of it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Sonia! Oh, with the pinky too? With the pinky?
Oh, somebody's got champagne.
Watch party.
Drinks.
I'm the savage with my vodka bottle here.
Sorry, pink champagne is necessary.
Oh, there you go. Well, I wish we could all have Red Banjo Pizza. That was my go-to place. Get a pitcher of beer and a pizza at Red Banjo Pizza right on the top. There was usually you could just sort of squeak in there right before a screening real quick and grab something. Yeah, well, it's going to happen. It's going to happen soon. I think that Sundance maybe back in person next year. But are we ready to watch the film?
Yeah.
Alex,
Are we on
are we
Twitch
ready?
as well? Sorry.
Sorry?
Are we on Twitch as well?
We're on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope.
What's the Twitch? I'm going to host it on my Twitch channel as well.
Yeah, put it on. It's just Film Threat. Just look up Film Threat on Twitch.
Found it. No, that's Mouth Threat. I'm sorry. I'll find it. We'll figure it out.
Film
We'll
Threat.
figure it out.
Also, if you look up on Twitter, Alex, I tagged you on Twitter. I put out a tweet to let people know. You can just retweet it.
Awesome.
Let people
Love
know
it.
we're about to do this. We're gonna get to the fun part. But this is great. I mean, it's weird. It's weird to not be in Park City right now. Alex, I don't know how you feel about that, right? I mean, we haven't done much of anything this year. I've been going to the drive-in a lot. That's my, a big outing for me.
I miss it, man. I miss going to Sundance. It was a lot of fun. And every year that I've been going, it's always just a good time. I've never had a bad time at Sundance. It's always been a good time. Yes, freezing, feet fall off, lose a toe. Yes. Almost get arrested. Yes. Party hard. Yes. It's a thing it's a thing. If you haven't been there, I wanted to capture that in this movie so you can feel like what it's really like, and also talk about all those things that, like the altitude and other things like that is not that's not very talked about very often. And someone else who's watching, I got to give a shout out to my main man Straw, Uncle Straw.
Yay!
Everybody, hey,
Straw.
Uncle Straw, who is easily the most overqualified production assistant in the history of cinema.
My God. Understatement.
Who called me and says, Alex, I want to go to Sundance and help you with your movie. I'm like, sure, Straw, but I mean, there's nothing really you could do. Because I'll just walk around and like be your PA or help you out with stuff. And I'm like, okay, great. And having him was a pleasure. He's one of my oldest friends here in LA, and he makes an appearance, multiple appearances, but the main appearance at the end credits, which we'll see once we see the movie. But thank you so much. Thank you so much, Straw, for all your help with this, man.
Well, I have to say, before we start the film, we're going to start it any minute. We're waiting for Randy to connect to stream it to his Twitch channel.
Oh, that's done. Sorry, that was done already.
It's happening. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Live on
My
Twitch,
bad.
Watch party. We have another guest who's about to join us. The one and only Robert Peters is here. Dude, good to see you, man. What are you doing?
I'm trying to get in there.
You're in. You're on.
I'm in. Okay.
You're in. We're
Oh
talking.
my gosh.
Hey,
Robert.
You can tell I'm not a technical dude here. This is cool though. I love it.
Well, I
That's
need to let people know this is a second screen experience. So you should probably have this on your iPad or computer, or maybe your iPhone, whatever. You can listen to us talk while you watch the movie on your television on the corner of Ego and Desire. I think we're getting ready to press play. We need Alex to give a countdown. I'll be monitoring the chat. So anyone that wants to post comments, post your comments, your questions for the cast. I'll be monitoring that, but Alex has taken over the show with the cast as we watch on the corner of Ego and Desire, and we'll fix that echo problem. It might be you there, Robert. Wait, you just came in on another stream. We got two Robert Peter. He cloned himself.
Okay, so that's what's probably wrong. What do I need to do? Turn something off, obviously.
Whoa. Okay. Well, we fixed it. So there you go. And wait, one more buddy of mine, Alok Mishra. What is he saying? One is always so constantly drunk at Sundance that at some point the Main Street Pizza Noodle Restaurant and Red Banjo Pizza seems like a good option. Red Banjo Pizza is my go-to, Alok. I don't know what you're talking about. I might have to mute you, Robert, for just a sec while we figure out maybe just turn your volume down a little bit. But
I apologize. Yes, I'm sure I.
Oh, no worries, man. No worries. We're going to start a podcast where I teach you how to add a photo to an email. I promise you on our podcast, I'll teach
Are you like, is that like an email sign up thing? Because my dad could really use that.
I am gonna do it. We're all gonna do it together. Robert,
Yeah, I'm your dad.
I always see Robert at Slam Dance. I don't know why. I always see Robert at Slam Dance. He's always hanging out there. But I'm excited. Okay, so Alex, tell us, when are we pressing play?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Has anyone said how good
I can't
Sonya
hear
looks,
you guys at
by the
all.
way, tonight? Jeez. I came in wearing a Nintendo 64 shirt and she like got dolled up, so I feel like a dick right now.
It was the red carpet.
Yeah.
Alex, let us know when to start the movie and we'll get it going. Oh, we lost Alex.
No.
He'll be back. No, wait. It says device not connected. He'll be back in a second.
Oh, good. There's someone else who's technically challenged too. Why is this film so bad?
All right. Here we go. Alex, are you there? We lost Alex. What did he do?
He's coming back. It looks like it's
Loading.
Oh my gosh. This is like every horrible Zoom call.
Yep.
That has been. Everything is a Zoom call now.
It's true.
While we're waiting, I'm gonna grab some water. I will
again.
be right back.
Where is he? He'll be right back. All right, we're not in Park City. I want to talk about, before Alex comes back and we start the film, your Park City experiences.
Okay, I won't leave yet then.
Wait, there's Alex. There he is.
All right.
there.
Here, guys.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Let's
ready to
yes,
play
give me
on the
1
movie?
second. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Yep. We press play in a second. We open it up.
Oh my God, Kurt, you're right. It's turning into host. It's turning into host now. There's going to be.
All right.
We're all going to
Are
get.
we ready?
Let's do it.
You ready?
All right. 3, 2, 1.
And there's a commercial for Prime Video. I'm just letting
Oh,
you know.
good.
Oh, is there?
I'm watching a commercial for Yearly Departed. And no, it's a montage of all the content that's on Amazon.
So, Chris, let me know when it starts playing.
I'll let you know when it starts playing. Does everyone else press play on Amazon?
I just paused at 23 seconds while I wait for you to find.
Okay. It's starting now. I see the Indie Rights logo.
Okay.
And it's the Indie Film Hustle. Got that logo in there. It's happening. Media Circus. I see the Media Circus logo. It is time, Angie Mac. Here we go. Credits are rolling. It's happening. Okay, here it is in black and white, and everybody's there. Everybody's there but Robert. What?
Yes. So
it's a rare Alex, with your hat off. It's a rare shot of you with your hat off. So,
yes, it is a rare shot without my hat on. Yes. That was a really bad hair day, by the way. Really bad. I didn't even know what I was. Anyway, and people always ask me why I did this black and white. It was a callback to like Clerks and the old 90s style Sundance films. I wanted to kind of start the film that way. And also scare everybody to think, oh my God, is this going to be a black and white movie the entire time? Yeah, I added all that. I added all the grain and all of that stuff. Wanted that Super 16, early 90s Sundance vibe. Oh God, Sonya, the stuff coming out of your mouth. Oh my God.
Most obnoxious person in the entire world. Ooh.
Well, I mean, you definitely have that bullshit artist thing going well. It's perfect. It's just like I said, I've met Julia's at Sundance. But yeah, no, it definitely has that vibe of like the sort of Clerks-esque, blown out lighting, kind of flat and then grainy. I like it. It was that shot at the condo where you guys were staying?
Yes. Yes, this was the scene that I was actually fearing the whole time, because I was worried that Alex joked that he was going to leak this and that everyone would think I was actually this obnoxious character. So, oh man.
What about, where did the title come from? We have the titles on right now on the corner of Ego and Desire. Where did that title come from, Alex?
Ooh, great question.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. Who has an answer? Oh,
All right. Well, since Alex is out.
you have an answer to that question?
So we were literally, our condo was on the corner of Ego and Desire. That was literally the name of the streets.
Wait, what? That actually
Yeah.
exists?
It was the year that Sundance put up those like big motivational posts. And we were on the actual corner of it. And I was like, wow, look, we're next to Desire. And then he's like, dude, that's Ego right there, you know?
Well, and here's a little, I guess, on the corner of Ego and Desire secret. Originally, Alex was going to call the film Unofficial Selection. That was going to be the original title of it. But then after we had got there and our characters were really kind of coming to light and Sonia became Julia, we inevitably came on the corner of Ego and Desire.
And I believe there's a documentary about Sundance called Unofficial Selection, right?
I think there might have been, yeah.
So and I felt like this was like a way of maintaining, you know, our own identity as like, you know, just having a little bit more.
I always wanted to make a short film called TBA, and then just put it in the program guide as TBA to see if anybody would get it. See, that's a film programmer joke, because TBA is to be announced. It's just
right.
It's I was just workshopping that, didn't work. On that note, my pal Al asks, how much of the film was improvised?
I mean, there was a script.
90.
The whole thing?
95%.
Wow.
The dialogue was almost completely, if not all. I mean, just a few lines here and there I threw in there, but generally almost the entire thing is improvised. But everything was structured, and the story and all that stuff was kind of developed prior, and we kind of worked a little bit along the way as well.
Right.
It was a team effort, to say the least.
Definitely. Like we had a location and be using what we were really seeing, especially like celebrities on the street. That was like a fun one of being like, oh, actually so-and-so, you know?
Yeah.
I love this shot of the three of you on the ledge, just kind of overlooking. It's such a beautiful shot.
It was also really cold.
Thank you. The entire time it was freezing.
The whole time it was so cold.
When I made the terrible choice of wearing like a thin jacket and leather pants to look stylish and svelte, when I really should have been bundled up in a giant parka, and I'm from Nova Scotia, so I have no excuse for this rookie mistake. But that the same outfit the whole time.
That look that you had is so perfect. It's so dead on to people that come to Park City that don't know. I can't tell you how many times every year I always see there's a bunch of women walking around wearing open-toed heels.
Yes,
on Main Street.
There was one guy we saw who was walking around barefoot the entire day. Not entire day, the entire time he was there. He was just like, yeah, I just don't wear shoes. And I'm like, you know, we're in Utah, right? He's like, yeah, I don't ever wear shoes.
Oh my God. That's just nuts. Well, we lost Alex again, but I'm sure he'll be back shortly.
Sweet.
Yeah, Alex, I mean, we had such a small team on this, and Alex, you know, shot it, colored it, edited it. It was just crazy to see everything he was able to do.
And our incredible DP Austin deserves.
Yeah. I mean, Austin was just so incredible. I mean, how big was our team? And we were like less than 6.
No, and his hands are like shaking, and he's holding that camera and maintaining it. You know, there's no jerkiness. So Austin deserves an award.
I love Sonia's lines. Like people keep looking at me. I think they're recognizing me from some like random Q&A she did.
I swear you could definitely bullshit your way and pretend and tell people, you know, that you're from. So I mean, like when we would go there with the Film Threat team, we would actually make our own badges that just said Film Threat Press. and we would laminate them. And by laminate, meaning we would take clear packing tape and we would make a badge. And it looked so legit. People would see it and like, oh, you're media, right? Color printed out badges made with clear packing tape. It was so cheap, but they looked legit. And we would get those for people because we couldn't ever get enough badges for everyone that came from Film Threat. So we'd make our own Film Threat press badges that just said press, and it worked. Alex, you're back. This movie's making me sad now. It's making me sad because I'm seeing everything that we would be doing. Oh my God, those leather pants.
They look great.
That's so like people that are there.
Yeah, so impractical, so uncomfortable.
Oh, and those leather pants definitely, felt. Sonia felt them later on.
Oh yeah,
when we shot in the middle
of the night, and I like was trying to stuff like leggings underneath them so I wouldn't freeze while filming on Main Street at like 3 a.m. And you cannot do that. They were like a glove. That was a terrible, terrible choice.
Oh, the bear. Everybody takes a photo with the bear.
Yeah.
Oh, Randy, that was love that. But what
good times. I'm sorry, I'm just like watching because I was all like, you got to be super excited about this bear, and I was like, okay, this is a bear.
Kurt Weiser asked, were all the locations known ahead of time, or were they found during shooting? Like in terms of locations, did you have like a hit list, Alex, of we're gonna do this here, this there?
I mean, I'm gonna say that probably like 90%, 95% of the locations I knew where we were gonna shoot. A couple of them we kind of found like later on. I'll point out a couple that we found, but I just know Park City so well after going so many times. I just knew where we were going to shoot everything. So most of the stuff we found, but like towards the end, we there was a couple that we just kind of like started walking around and find stuff. But I'm gonna say like 85-90% of the locations we knew.
Oh yeah, like the stairs thing was planned beforehand.
Oh, the stairs. Ooh.
Oh yeah, I wrote a whole scene about the stairs. I was like, guys, there's these stairs, and they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, it's like the Exorcist stairs times 10.
And trying to run up those stairs in heels when they were like covered in ice. That was the worst.
Jeez.
Oh God.
That's right. I'm like, we're complaining over here wearing Timberlands and boots, and Sonya's running up with like high heels.
There. Oh man.
No, it was crazy, and we were like, you were just so annoyingly just jumping up those stairs that you're just like, look at her, like she's just like la 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 la. So amazing! It's so amazing.
How many takes did you do for the stairs?
Ooh.
Oh God, how many takes did we do? I'm gonna say as a general statement, the whole movie, I don't think we ever went more than 2 or 3 takes. Is that fair, guys?
I'd say that.
Yeah, that's fair for you maybe, but you Rob and I have to keep going back down the stairs like 10 or 15 stairs at a time.
That's
so you can get those back shots and the front shots. So yeah,
because we weren't going to keep going up and down those stairs.
Oh God.
Oh my God!
This is I love this lens, and this lens I call this the Kubrick lens because it's the Super 16 equivalent of what Stanley Kubrick used in 2001, Clockwork Orange, and a couple other films that he shot with. And it's like this perfectly like super wide, but you don't fisheye. You see, there's no fisheye, which is so amazing. And I shot it, I put it on my little camera, and I just love that shot. Sorry, I geeked out. Film geek out. Sorry.
What about Indie Scene is asking any locations you wish you could have gotten? Like, I mean, I could think of some places you would have gotten.
I mean, we shot everywhere.
What's that?
We're inside Sundance headquarters. We shot 2-3 scenes inside Sundance headquarters while it was going on. We actually, and we'll tell a story when we get to the Egyptian later in the movie. We'll tell a story about what happened there. But generally speaking, we were never turned down anywhere. Either we stole it 100%, or they're just like the noodle pizza shop, not the Main Street Pizza.
Pizza noodle.
We went in going with the idea of just stealing it until they told us to go. And then afterwards, like once they saw what we were doing, they're like, do you want us to turn the music down? Do you want us to be in the shot with you? I'm like, thank you. And we're going to order a lot of food. And they were like, cool, no worries. There was never a rejection anytime while we were in Park City. Right, guys? There was like never one time that someone said, you can't shoot here.
We tried to get into the IMDb lounge. That was the only time when
That's right.
You guys, like, you're not entering.
Yeah.
I'm like, please. And like, I tried all of the tricks and they're like, nope. And I remembered wanting to like convince these guys on our nights off to sneak into the agency parties, but I couldn't. No one would come with me.
But she went anyway.
I did.
Well, well, just to really. Oh, go ahead, Alex.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, the scene here, at least the scene that I'm watching, which is when Julia's talking into the camera. I wanted to kind of throw as many different styles of so I wanted that Ferris Bueller vibe when the character talks to the camera. And we kind of discovered that when we shot this scene. I turned to Austin, my cinematographer. I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if she just starts talking to the camera? And I think then we just started doing it. Like, great, we'll do one for every character, and that'll be kind of a thing we do. And like, great, and we'll figure that out. So, man, this whole movie was it was organized. There was obviously a roadmap, but we discovered a lot along the way. And I was as a director, I was completely open to it. And that was just the kind of film it was, to the point when I got on the plane to go back to LA, I didn't know if I had a movie. Like, I had no idea if we actually, if anything was going to work. So it was terrifying, but yet, very exciting at the same time.
All the direct-to-camera addresses were the most fun, like from an acting standpoint. Like, there's something about like just getting like no holds barred access to the audience.
Yeah,
those are my favorite things to shoot.
I don't think there's, for this specific character, no one else could have done this. Like, just the knowledge that Sonia has in terms of films and stuff like that. Like, it just couldn't have come from a better person. Like, she just monologued for a good like 3 minutes, and it was just like bang, 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 bang.
Stop, we got it. Yeah, you'd be like, please.
Yeah.
Side note here, guys. If you notice, it was so cold. Austin was holding the monopod and he was shaking. So the wide shot footage here is shaky, and I had to fix it in post. He was so cold that it actually was really like cold, shaking the whole lens and camera.
Man.
Indie scene is another question for peeps that haven't been. Can you explain about the lists in order to get into all the venues? Not really from the film, more so the experience of being at Sundance. I know this just from, first of all, I have bullshitted my way into almost every party. I'm fortunate enough, having written a book and knowing and just going for years, I'll know someone who's already in the party or in line.
Mm-hmm. And
then the real next level way to get in is to take, just get a pint of a pint glass, fill it with apple juice and shake it. So it's about half full. So there's foam on the top. Tie your winter coat around your waist. Sidle up. You don't make eye contact with anybody. This is very much a poker move, right? You don't make eye contact. You go right up to the guy at the door and you say, "Hey man, is it cool if I take this outside?" And it's the only thing that a doorman can be fired for, is letting someone outside with alcohol. So they'll look at me and say,
wow.
"No, get back in the party."
Look at Sonia's face. Right. She's like writing this down.
She's taking notes.
It's you gotta act like you've been in the party. You're just going back in like you went out for a cigarette or something, right? So I just take off my stuff like I've been outside, and I'm holding a drink.
Wow.
So give that one a try. Wait, we have
impressive.
Rich RB Botto is here. He's joining us.
Yes.
Rich, how are you?
No. Did RB? Is he making an appearance?
Damn. I told you, brother, if I could do it, I could pull. If I could pull it off, I'd pull it off.
Well, dude, you sound like you've got a throat issue. You might have a throat issue with the mic. Try leaving and coming back, or change your mic settings.
Let me see something. Hold on.
All right, cool. I'll mute you for the moment.
It's really funny. We just mentioned RB in the movie, and he shows up. That's great. What perfect timing, RB. What perfect timing.
Oh my God, Main Street Pizza Noodle. You guys were there. That part. That's awesome. Wait, here, Rob's back.
Where? RB is here.
Can you hear me
Great
now?
timing, RB.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We hear you now.
Perfect. RB, you're back.
How are you, all you beautiful
RB is
people?
here. RB is here. RB is here.
Look at all these talented bastards in one place.
Sorry, Sonia, I got that out of your face. A little branding.
Moving.
Don't worry. No. I moved it.
Very kind.
God, your movie's making me sad, Alex. It's reminded me of going to.
I know, man. I miss it.
No.
I miss it. I'm like looking at it too. I'm like, oh, like everyone shot off that area in Sundance because it's a perfect shot of Main Street. And
Yeah.
my theory with shooting all of this.
That's Treasure Mountain Inn.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's where Slam Dance is. The thing was that my theory was this, that no one was going to figure out that we were shooting a movie because who's insane enough to shoot a movie at Sundance while Sundance is going on. And then secondly, I knew we were going to get obscene amounts of production value for free. So, I have a cast of thousands.
Well, I mean, they say production value is what? Cast and location, and you had both in your pocket. So
Yeah.
It was remarkable. Look, you could all that breath coming out of their mouth, that was all added in the CG. It wasn't that cold, really.
I can vouch that it wasn't added in CG and it actually happened on set. So
And if you and everyone look at Randy when he gets up. When he gets up, look at Randy. His butt is
look at my butt.
just soaked. It's soaked of snow.
Yes.
You know what was actually what was so good about the weather is when we first arrived at Sundance, we were like the happiest like kids in a candy store that you could imagine being, right? We're all actors and filmmakers. And then our level of anxiety and anger at one another from being so cold just kept rising that literally there was no acting anymore. We were ready to kill each other and Alex. It was so cold. It was so much fun though.
It's the best.
Can I ask how come I can't see the film?
So RB, what we're doing is people are watching it on Amazon Prime, and we're just kind of doing some video commentary here. So we're about 20 minutes into the film. So if you're on Amazon Prime, go to around 20 minutes and a half by the time you get on.
Got it. Okay, all right.
What?
That's a
RB,
lot of-
you didn't get the Criterion Blu-ray that I sent everybody? Oh, I'm sorry.
I have not gotten the Criterion Blu-ray. What the fuck?
seriously, Alex. Jeez.
I mean, what the fuck?
The whole reason we made the movie was for RB, and he didn't get the copy. Jeez.
This is the whole reason. And now we've lost the guy that directed
We lost
the damn
Alex.
thing.
he'll be back.
He's always back.
You guys are on the bus. Like, how? I'm just amazed you were able to get access to so many locations and whatnot, and that the audio is actually very good, right? Like,
It wasn't
Yeah.
VR. Like that was real audio. Like our sound guy was like sitting there and people were staring at us. Like that was one of the scenes I was most embarrassed about because I was like, I'm going to see people that I know who think I'm becoming an influencer and I'm like commandeering this bus and telling these obnoxious stories about winning Oscars. But it worked out perfectly.
Major shout out to Kyle, our sound mixer. He was incredible. I mean,
Kyle's amazing.
the way he pulled this off was, I don't know how he did it.
Yeah, it was crazy.
but it really came off well. The thing is I'll say this, having been to Sundance, Sonia, no matter how annoying you thought you may have been, you are not even close to the most annoying person I've seen at Sundance. Not even in the top 100.
I was about to say that, not even the top 100. I mean, it's yeah. If you're right, like you guys on that bus, that's like that's like 50 shades more normal than the rest of everybody that got on that bus. So
I think I actually slipped on this part. Nope.
Good.
There was a part where I like really fell. Oh, right here. No, nothing. I don't know.
let me get this movie. Let me see if I can get this on here.
Yeah, it's Rich, it's a second screen experience. So you watch the movie on one screen, and then you get the commentary in a second screen.
I dig it.
Yeah, so you just watch the movie here, and then we're the running commentary, and people
RB, we're about 22 minutes and 40 seconds in.
Okay.
If you're approximately there, you're probably good.
Yeah.
Getting it on.
Nice.
Joining the fucking party.
This is just so it's so authentic. I think for anyone that's been there, if they haven't seen this film, it's just gonna not only bring back memories, but also all the frustrations.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
where are we at? Like 23 minutes?
Right now, let's see.
Maybe 23, 30, close to that.
Okay, I'm watching Randy
Around
do his thing.
Yes,
yeah. Randy's.
Yeah. I love it. It's one of my favorite parts.
I just think how bold it is. The other thing is I'm sure you could get away with it from the shooting because there are a lot of people with cameras. There's a lot of media at Sundance, right? So people are constantly being interviewed and stuff is happening. So you really wouldn't have stood out at all. So
no, but I gotta give Sonia and Rob and Randy like all the credit in the world for this, from the standpoint that there is so much craziness going on at Sundance at any given time, and to be in the middle of that, be in the middle of all the mayhem that's going on, and still be improving and coming up with lines and just being creative and not being distracted is that every time I watch this movie, that's what I think. Like, like I said, being on the bus. I mean, when you get on a bus at Sundance and everybody's coming out of a movie, I mean, it's like mayhem, and everybody is, of course, praising the film that will, die a slow death. But, but there they are, in the middle of it, cheering, just improving the whole way through. And that was the impressive thing to me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You did a great job with your scene too. I mean,
oh yeah,
like gangbusters.
Oh please!
To be honest,
RB,
guys,
were you in this movie?
I don't think so. I think I ended up in the cutting. I think I'm on the cutting room floor.
I'm just kidding, man.
I'm like Costner in the Big Chill. I'm on the cutting room floor.
To be fair, don't give these guys too much credit. I completely saved them in post. I'm just saying the performances were completely saved in post production.
And of course, I shouldn't say that they improved anything because I know how closely, closely they stayed to the script.
Obviously.
What is for all the actors your favorite scene? Oh, we lost Alex again. Well, this is
we lost Alex again.
I can say the favorite scene was my scene with Robert Peters, where we have like a big Robert Redford moment on the street where I get to approach him and he's just sort of like the god of Sundance, and we have that emotional little moment. That was my absolute favorite.
Yeah, Rob and I weren't there for that scene. I remember like the crew had gotten up at like 5 a.m. to go out and shoot that. To get that shot, so Rob and I got to sleep in. So we didn't get to see it until the movie released. Yeah, it was very cold, Robert.
Very cool. Just those lights on the street.
It looked beautiful and it was shot. Oh my god! I remember watching. I was like, holy F! Yeah. It was just great. Like I think my favorite scene, like as an actor, was with all four of us, with Sonia, Rob, and myself, and RB. On not the patio. I guess that is a patio.
Top sort of confrontation scene.
Yeah, that was my favorite scene, where like RB's watching the movie on our phone, and he's just like, this ain't it, guys. And like I think for my character specifically, like my frustration of like watching Sonia, Rob's character, like bicker the entire trip, and like it's okay because we're gonna sell this movie, and then RB being like, nah, like just like finally, that's it, I've had enough. Yeah. So that like for me, that was me personally, like my favorite. So
yeah, that was a heartbreaking moment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think for me, my favorite scene was actually the scene, Randy, you and I had on the staircase.
Oh yes, yeah, great scene.
That was a really, really cool scene at the party. That was
yeah. I'm very humble, by the way. Just just such a great scene, Rob. Just probably the best scene of the whole movie. Just
I think all the scenes of you guys playing off one another, like I said, the bus scenes are great. You know, the scene outside the condo at the beginning is great. You know, the first time Sonya breaks the fourth wall, and I just think that you guys just played off each other so well that every time I show, it's funny because when I do show this the film to people, you know, to friends, and they're every single time they're like, "How long did these guys rehearse? Like, how long did they?" That's how good you guys are together and how great you played off one another.
Thank
People
you.
think that all the time. People are like, "Wow, these guys must have really did they know each other for a long time? Have they been in other things together?" I mean, so that's a testament to how well you guys played off of one another.
Randy and I met at one of the shoots.
on the day of, yeah.
Day
that
of.
was super awesome. And it's just crazy. We clicked like that, and it was just like, oh, she's like my best friend, so we're good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Harvey, thank you for saying that, man. That's, I really appreciate
Yeah, it's true though. I mean, that's not blowing smoke. I mean, that's what everybody that I've shown that film to has said the same thing about the three of you. Is like, you know, how long did they rehearse? How long did they know each other? You know, did they even need a director? Because it doesn't look like anyone was really directing the scene. Oh, God, just give him the shit. He falls off again. Unbelievable.
Well, I want to ask a question to all the actors. Like, did you ever encounter any problems, like with people? Did they bust takes sometimes? Like,
there was. I remember one specifically.
Yeah.
I think I don't know.
You know, I was going to say that. Sorry,
ahead,
there's a kind of delay, guys. So I'm sorry if I'm jumping on top of you guys. I apologize. No, I generally speaking, occasionally there'd be a take broken or stuff, but you could ask like my DP. I think even to Cass, I was just like, I would get so upset when someone would walk in my frame. I'd be like, just move, and they're like, and like I think Austin's like, dude, we're not supposed to be here. Like this is we're stop out. Like I'm like, no, it's just that the director and me just kicked in, and I'm like, why are you in my shot? Get out of the way.
It's like and especially it's like you're in the middle of the outback.
Yeah, especially in
the zebras to move. Like get out of like this is where they live.
but you know what, Alex, I would say probably at least percentage wise, at least 75%, if not more, people were like really cool. Like they were like really welcoming, like because there was, like we said, there were just certain people like shooting certain pieces of content, whether it was for like YouTube channels and stuff. So it wasn't super foreign to see cameras around, but yeah, I think it was better than what it could have been, I guess, is the point, is what I'm trying to say. It could have been disastrous, but it worked out.
I love this shot of you, Rob, where you're like the Egyptian is out of focus in the background over your shoulder, and you're on the phone. It's just someone walking up Main Street with, you know, a phone in their ear is such a common thing.
Well, you know, what I loved about with Alex is, you know, he gave us so much freedom. Like, you know, I'm super close with my mom. Like, I consider she's probably one of like my biggest supporters. And she supported my film and acting career forever. So, you know, there was a lot to kind of take and play with in terms of like, my God, what if I actually like used her money for something? She'd really kill me. She's a Sicilian, tough woman.
You did a beautiful job with those scenes, Rob. Like, they're really emotionally, really lovely. Yeah.
Dolly's book.
Yeah, and I love the that shot of the Sundance. I think we're all at the same place in the movie at this point, which is about 30 minutes in. Right? Oh, I think you guys are a little bit ahead of me. But that shot with Rob upright with the Sundance shot at the background. I mean, we had to get the crane in there, and we had a helicopter drop us. It was really, really, really brutal. Really.
Oh, the cat.
Oh my God.
Oh, yes, this was fun.
There's Dan Mervish's book. Made the appearance.
Oh, I love Dan Mervish. That's cool.
He was so excited. He was so excited that I put his book in the movie.
I didn't properly say hi to Rob too. Hey, Rob, good to see you again. Not that Rob. Rob, I said I love it, but the other Rob, Mr. Peters. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you again, my friend.
Let's see if Rob's mic is working.
Yeah, am I okay? Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you. I haven't seen you since AFM last year, and the live AFM, not the pseudo online thing.
Oof.
But
Yeah,
great to see you.
Thank you. Thank you. This is very cool.
Oh, Rob, I gotta mute you. Sorry, I'm just getting a lot of feedback. I don't know why. Well, you could check your settings. Check your settings in the mic settings. See if you can fix it. I'm just surprised that you didn't have more takes busted. But maybe there's a sort of quiet understanding with people of like being respectful. If someone's being interviewed, you don't want to bust their take, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's a
there was there was a lot of people who would stop and just they were conscious of it. It was nice. There was a couple of people who just didn't care. There was that one that the guy didn't make.
I was
going
gonna
to
say,
but who's
the guy
was a
who
real
was just
prick.
like he was just like, "Hi, mom." I was like, "Geez, we're like actually doing something." Here.
Like I almost punched the guy. I was so angry.
Alex, would you want to shoot another movie this way? This is what Kurt Weiser is asking.
Good to see Kurt.
I actually love this this way of shooting. Prior to this and my first film, This Is Meg, I never really shot like this. I always had a proper script and you follow it and so on and so forth. But I love like, again, if it's $100 million movie, no. But if it's a really low budget personal kind of film, absolutely, I would do it again. It all depends on the kind of story we're trying to tell and what we're trying to do. But I just love kind of being on the edge, because this is really on the edge. You don't even know what's going to happen about this process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just gotta say really quick, this has nothing to do with what Alex just said, because who cares, right? I'm just kidding. Like I think the B stories in the movie, and I'm just like I'm in the movie, so whatever. But like the B stories, and like what all the individual people are going through as well, like also really hit home. You know what I'm saying? Like just the scene with Sonya being dropped by her manager, by her rep. And she's just like, no, that's not right. You guys are wrong. Like, that's not what's happening. And I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I'm just really proud of this, man. I just really, really, really liked what we put together.
And these guys know the story, but like here I am in the like movie pretending to cold call like William Morris. And then within 2 months of being done the movie, I signed with them. Like it was like a very surreal thing. I had never met with them ever before. It was like very like kismet. It was almost like a Julia moment of manifesting something.
Yeah.
And like,
Well,
how huge is that? Like, it's very weird. You know,
well, hopefully you'll never have to make that call that you made in the movie in real life.
I didn't want it have to happen like that.
You know, what's so interesting too. I was just thinking about, Alex, you were talking before about how, we all have our direct to camera, like confessionals, if you will. It added such a layer of the film that I don't even think that we even realized at the time, because, each one of these characters are friends, but they all have a little something that they're not telling the other person.
Yeah.
And it was really able to let the audience in on that. And that was just, just something I don't even think that we anticipated when we first came on board. But, so often that, we find people talk about shooting a movie, right? And then there's always so much resistance, right? Whether it's internal resistance or funding or timing, et cetera. And then sometimes if you just like get out of your own way and say, hey, let's just go frickin' shoot a movie, you can create something pretty special. I think this was a testament to it. I mean, like, I know Randy and Sonya personally, but we never acted together. We've never shared the screen before this film. It was literally our first time ever doing it. And it was my first time, all of our times, meeting Alex in person.
Yeah.
So it's literally just first time meeting RB, to meet all these people, first time meeting Robert. And then, like we said, zero rehearsal time, just coming on and just being expected to deliver. I think it's a really good thing to be under that pressure sometimes. And it's not a pressure you get too often as an actor.
That's true. And it was a total leap of faith. Like I had never met this director, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go on the plane and fly to this place to meet these people and stay with people I don't know. Like there was a certain element of like going outside of your comfort zone, which is when I think we grow and when we do things that are interesting. But at the time I was a little terrified.
Yeah.
But I think that's a testament to the energy that you guys brought, because there is that sort of kinetic energy between you guys that I think is, you know, every actor's dream in a way. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's, you know, there's something to be said for, you know, doing a stage play and rehearsing for, you know, 3-4 months and, you know, getting it down and going out there and having it be that thrill of being live and doing it that way and having it down. And then I think there's a bigger thrill in a lot of ways that high wire act, when you know you're under time constraints and you haven't worked with the other actors and you got to find it, you know what I mean? You got to find it quick. Because if you don't find it, you know it's not going to work. You know what I mean? You only have so many days to shoot and so many takes, especially when you're doing something like this. I mean, you can only steal so many scenes. You know what I mean? And I think that nervous energy, I'm sure for you guys as actors, had to have been pretty cool too. That idea that any moment somebody could be coming down, going, "Where's your permit? Like, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm sure that had to be a thrill too, and probably helped you guys find the energy in the performances.
And you're flying by the seat of your pants and like adrenaline is getting you. You're seeing all these things that you've always wanted to. Like I remember feeling like Alice in Wonderland, like just arriving in this place, this mecca that represents everything that I've ever wanted to do as an actor. And it was a very like eerie, you know, moment of, oh my God, I'm actually here. This is real, like pinch myself kind of thing.
Yeah. I think it also just made us like stronger actors, just knowing that we could take this and just be thrown into the situation, not really know exactly what we have to do or what's going to happen next, because it's not like a script. It's a scriptment. You know what I mean? And we're kind of we kind of have to create the next moment. And it's just like being able to like have that and really like be in the moment made us all, I think, stronger actors and like a great learning experience moving forward.
And I think it teaches you probably one of the greatest lessons that you ever need to learn is you have to listen. Right? Like very often as an actor, you're so focused on dialogue, but you know, in order to just not be jumping completely over one another, and just really letting it feel organic and feel smooth, we just really had to learn to really be giving to one another and listen to one another. And that it reminded me of being in acting school. Honestly, it reminded me a lot of that.
Yeah.
There's Alex making his cameo finally.
Yeah.
You guys are on that point of the film.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Somebody
Robert,
asked if
no.
Going back to something that Randy said too, that I think is important. You know,
Yes,
Alex and I talk all the time about, you know, the proper way to handle yourself in this business. You know, him and I have done a million podcasts about this. And so Randy, your point about the B stories, I think is really well taken. The idea of like, you know, if you go up to Sundance and you don't have a plan, or if you try to like, and Chris, I guarantee you could attest to this because you've been around this a long time. This idea to fake it till you make it in this business, you know, you'll get exposed in 3 seconds flat.
Yeah.
And I think that's a testament to what you were saying, Randy, about the B stories, because there's a lot of that in the B stories.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that's one of the things I thought that Alex hit upon really, really well. When he first told me about this film, he was like, everything that we talk about on our podcast, he goes, I kind of want to film that. He goes, I kind of want to film that, you know, you can't fake it till you make it. And that you know, that your authentic self is the thing that's going to win the day in this business.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And it's kind of appropriate for this scene.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is where like the scene where like the shit really hits the fan, where it's like everything that we're trying to hide and trying to, you know, push to the side until we can sell this movie kind of just all comes to a head, you know.
And this is another scene where it seems like the three of you have been working together forever. I love this scene. I mean, like the riffing between you guys is unbelievable.
I want to watch this.
Look at Rob's face.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Oh shit!
Oh.
Who invited Alex?
Bitch.
Alex, are you on a dial-up or 2 cans of string?
I'm 24 baud. I'm on 24 baud. So
there you go. Grab away then. Look at this. Dan Mervish is here. Dan.
Yes.
Dan, this is for Dan. If he's still listening, text me, Dan. We can get you on the live stream. So just text me, and you can join us. Maybe you can join us. Maybe you can't. Alex, did
sorry guys, my internet was it's a long story. I'm trying to log back. I'm trying to log back into the movie. So give me a minute. Where are we in the movie? Anyway,
we're about
The interview scene.
43 minutes. 43 minutes in.
Okay, give me a second. Let me see if I can log back in.
Cool. I just love this interview scene. It's such
I love it.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of every podcast for people that have not had a lot of experience being on podcasts. So it's very authentic to that.
Sonia, you're insane in this scene. Like you're amazing in this.
This one's hard for me to watch. It makes me cringe.
No, I just love the tension of Rob. Like Rob is just at his wit's end. Like it's just like look at the look on his face of just like there's some classic looks. So.
There we go. Where are we exactly, guys?
Oh, we're about 46 minutes in.
46. Okay.
Wow, you guys are ahead of me. Are you 46?
Around
I'm at
46.
I'm at 44.
I'm at 43.
Have you guys gotten to the star wipe yet?
No.
Not yet.
Okay.
40, about 44 minutes.
All right.
We're watching your handsome ass bring the house down.
No, the thing that was amazing shooting this scene is, I mean, I think when did we shoot this? Oh, I think like day 2 or 3. I think we had already gotten accustomed to each other and everything, and we're like, okay, I guess we're gonna spend the night here and watch this. I think this is before we watched The Room that night.
Yeah.
That night we watched The Room as a cast. I think Sonia, you left though, right? You left.
She went to her party.
You went to that party and started your career. Correct. That year. That was.
It was a big night.
It was a good trip in general for Sonia. By the way, we're all still waiting for our residual payments. But anyway, but yeah, we just got there and we shot this probably 3 times, 4 times all the way through, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was intense.
It was intense. Yeah, it was.
Well,
it was intense.
Alex, the funniest thing too was Randy and I had never seen The Room yet, and I'm not going to give it away, but an actor from The Room will make an appearance, a cameo appearance in this movie, and randomly showed up to our party. Like, I mean, she was invited. We had no idea she was going to be there, so we had literally just watched The Room, and Randy and I are like, "Is that who we think it is?" Like, we literally thought we were hallucinating.
No, it was, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning or something, like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock that night. The next night at the party, and it was insane. I still remember.
Right? Like, because what are the odds that we've never seen that movie before,
right,
and one of the stars of the movie is at our party and is now in our film, and we're acting.
And then she cast us, Rob and I, in her The Room like spin-off series, which was a really like fun coincidence.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, and the funny
I could just say, I tell you, I've known Robin for years. There's nothing random. There's nothing random about Robin.
No, I remember we're shooting. I think we were shooting this scene with RB, and then Adam, the producer, comes in and just, "Hey man, Robin from The Room is here, and she wants to be in the movie." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't have time for your silliness and ridiculousness right now. I'm too busy making a movie." And like, "No, seriously, she's right over there." And I looked over. I'm like, "Great, hold her off for 2 hours, and we'll get to her." And we were just in the weeds when we were doing it. But the shot, the line that I really wanted to punch Sonia in the face after she said it was it the millennials Something disenfranchised.
Disenfranchised millennial, man. That's a great line. That's a great line.
Oh, that's my favorite line. I forgot.
That is a great
Oh
line.
my God. I was like, after I remember I cut and I'm like, I swear to God, swear to God. No, we had a ball. We had a ball during this, but the whole star wipe thing.
If you look closely, I'm very close to breaking this entire scene.
No.
Yeah.
When I busted out star wipe, which is such an inside joke to any filmmaker ever who's ever edited anything, I just like, wow, you used a lot of star wipes here. And Randy starts to shake. And then when I said it, Austin, my DP who had the camera, literally just couldn't. He couldn't. And then we all broke. And we all just broke after that. It was insane.
It was crazy.
It's always such a good feeling watching this movie, because just like the experience of going to Sundance and shooting a film, like no matter what anybody does in their careers, like you can never repeat that experience. You know, to be able to do something that's just like a once in a lifetime experience in your career is like, it's so meaningful, man. So Alex, thank you again for for entrusting us with your story, because, you know, putting together a feature, like they say, it's a wonder one ever gets made, period.
Oh, hold on. I don't know if you guys are at the same part. This is Adam, the producer. The bald-headed gentleman with the large beard. I don't know if we got to that point or past it.
I think I'm a little behind you.
Oh,
I'm still in the interview.
Oh, you're still in the interview? Okay, so
well, it's like 40. I'm at 48:32.
I'm at 48:42.
I'm at the same spot.
We're at general spot.
Yeah, round.
You know, just tacking on to that, because I want to give Alex just a ton of credit. I mean, when he first said to me, I want to film a movie at Sundance, I'm like, you're insane. And then in the next breath, I was like, you know what? In a weird way, you're going to be hiding in plain sight. Right. Because, you know, Chris, like you said earlier, you know, like you see a camera crew on the street. I mean, there's always people filming on the street. There's always stuff happening. But still, to be able to pull it off, like those people are filming an interview. They're filming, you know, something that's documentary style or something that is going to be new. You know, it's newsworthy, or it's news. What Alex was filming was, you know, a film where he had to say cut and let's do it again and everything like that. And to be able to do that hiding in plain sight is pretty impressive. I mean, it's beyond impressive. I'm not saying it's pretty impressive. It's ridiculously impressive. And then, like I was saying earlier, when you were on your dial-up, Alex, and falling off the internet, the interwebs, we were saying that, you know, to be able to get these performances, you know, and to be able to get what you wanted for your vision, and to be able, by the way, to be, you know, and let's not minimize this, because it was a script, man. And, you know, you asked people to improvise and you asked people, but you gave them what the vision was, and to get them to deliver that kind of vision in that element under that pressure is impressive. And, you know, this party that we're talking about later on, you know, where he filmed at this party, we're talking about Robin Paris and all this stuff and everything like that. That's a real party. I mean, that party is the party at the end of Sundance, and that thing is intense as hell. And there's people coming back, and he filmed like 5 scenes in there. And the funny thing is that most people were so drunk, they were just like, they're like, oh, what?
I just got to say, one of the coolest things about that party, I am probably one of the biggest Blink-182 fans. So we're getting ready to shoot a scene. I turn, and the man himself, Tom DeLonge, is just hanging out at the party. I'm like, holy crap. It's like the whole thing was just so surreal.
But it was insane. I still remember when I called RB up. I'm like, hey man, I'm shooting a movie at Sundance, and I'm writing a part for you. You're going to be the guy that they're chasing. Do you want to do it? And I don't think there was much hesitation, if I remember, RB. Right? It was pretty. You agreed to it pretty quickly.
I said I'll do anything for you. That's exactly what I said. And that's the truth in any way, shape, or form. I told you, like, we're boys, and whatever you want me to do, I'm there. And the funny thing was that you called me. I was at the covert part. Well, we'll tell that story when we get to the end.
Yeah. I was going to say
that is funny. But the point of the matter is that when you told me about it, I said, you know, tell me where and tell me when. And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you originally have an idea maybe this is in my fucking head, but didn't you originally have an idea where you wanted to kind of bookend it in LA? Didn't you want to like?
There was because I didn't like. Again, we were on the edge with this entire movie, so I really didn't know. Like I had a really good structure and idea where we wanted to go, but we're like, hey, maybe we're only going to need to wrap up like a bookend it in LA here and LA to fill it out, because I'm like, I don't think we have enough for a full 73. I just wanted to break 70 minutes. I just needed to break 70 minutes. If I could break 70 minutes, then I had a movie. If I can't break 70 minutes, it's not a movie at that point. It's an extended short. So,
and I think that's why you wanted to do. I think your original plan was, if I remember right, was that Sonia, Rob, and Randy were going to meet me. We were actually going to film that scene in LA where they meet me at like the Uptown Film Festival, and then that was going to bookend to the end. Right. And so you originally, if I remember right, what you originally told me is I may need you one night in LA. Right. And I was like, whatever you need. Whatever you need.
I think so. But once I got in, I mean, I don't know if you guys all remember this or not, but like we landed and like a week later there was a trailer.
That was
Oh, wow.
I had a trailer cut, colored with music, a teaser trailer, and I think Robert too. Like everyone was like, "What?" What?
And it was like, I'm not even saying this 'cause I'm a part of it, but it was a really strong trailer. Like people don't realize, like you can be a good film editor, but the art of putting together a good trailer, like they're not always one and the same. And like I was like, holy crap, like we have a movie here. Cause like you said, we had no idea what we had. And this is the other thing too, and we haven't talked about this yet. We shot for 36 hours in total for this feature. If you think of it, around 36 hours, that was the total. So like, I mean, Alex, I don't think we've ever asked you this. When you finally got back to LA and, you were actually like looking at the footage, what was your first initial reaction?
It was just my first reaction was I saw some of it in Sundance was like the quality of the image. So I just was really concerned.
Can we shut up because my scene's on? Oh, I'm just kidding.
This is the best scene in the movie.
Obviously, this alone sold Finland. This scene.
I am huge in Finland. Are you kidding me? I'm huge.
He can't walk the streets in Finland. I forgot what I was saying. Oh no! So I knew we had a good quality looking film because that was my concern. Because we were shooting with that small camera, and I had done tests, and I knew we could get a good looking film. But then when I started putting it together, I just started putting scenes together. And I think a couple weeks later, I brought in Adam and Austin and Straw to take a look at a rough cut, and the cut was, I think, 80% of what the final movie was. So it was already there. And then when by the way, I have to, since RB is on right now, I have to tell the RB story. No one believed that RB was going to show up. No one believed that RB was going to show up. And I was like, dude, it's like 11. I'm like, don't worry, my man, he's going to be here. No, like, where is he? Don't worry, he's going to be here. And I told you, RB, I'm like, show up around like midnight, 1, because I've partied with you enough. I knew where you would be in your cycle of the evening. How many cocktails you would
be in. Also, by the way, day 9 for me, I think, at Sundance at that point.
Right, exhausted.
So it was, day 8 of how many cocktails I might be in.
But yeah, so then I knew he was going to be perfect. So it was my way of method acting with RB because I knew it wouldn't be a stretch for him to be like, listen, you're tired. It's 1 o'clock no, he was exactly where he needed to be. And this scene out in the balcony, are we there now? Does everybody watching?
Yeah.
Can you tell everybody, Rob and Randy, how cold was it out there?
Dude.
It was like a brisk 72 degrees Fahrenheit.
That for me, and I'm a pretty cool person. I was at my breaking point at that.
I know you were.
It was like 14 degrees out there, and I was wearing like that really thin sweater.
Didn't think it through.
Oh my god!
Wait, I know that was the only time in the entire shoot that Rob was just like, okay, look, dude, I can't. And he was holding it back, and he was the utmost professional. He never snapped. but I could sense the energy coming from Rob at that moment. He's like, dude, enough with take two. And by the way, I'm like in a parka. I'm like completely like I'm in a parka, and like I have earmuffs. Like I'm fine. So I'm like, hey, let's go again. Let's go again, guys. Let's go again.
You know what I kept thinking to myself though about every time I've heard audio commentary from an actor who was like, supposed to be in a scene in like the warm beach, and they were like, the weather was like, the weather was like 20 degrees. I was like, all right, I just gotta deal. But I was hating you at that point.
I know you were. You're like, get in. I want to get in. And then the best part was like when RB got there, he's like, all right, what are we doing? I'm like, all right, here, you just go over here and do this and do that. And you're like, wait, Alex, where's the dialogue? What am I doing? Like, no, you just go over here, go. And RB's like, what do you want me to do? I don't understand what's going on. So we had to we walked it through. RB, what from your point of view, can you explain that whole scene that you were going through?
Well, first, let me just say that anybody that thought I wasn't going to show up doesn't know me very well, because every word I say by definition is a promise.
Yes.
So I was actually at a covert. The funny thing was I was at a covert media party, which was a production company that I had sold the script to. And I went to their party because they had a film at Sundance, and they were producing my script. And Alex calls me and he says, I need you now. And it's like midnight. And I'm like, what do you mean you need me now? So now I'm with a whole group of people, and I'm like, I have to leave. And they're like, why do you have to leave? I'm like, I have to go film a movie. I have to go. And they're like, what, you're going to a movie? Was there a screening? You're going to a screening? I'm like, no, I have to go film a movie, and you could all come with me. So I took like 30 people with me up to this party, and I get there, and this motherfucker, and I say that with love, says to me after I bring everybody over, he goes, I'm going to need like an hour and a half. I'm filming this scene. I'm like,
I forgot that.
So I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to go party. So we went and go party, and I have a few more cocktails. And then he finally comes over to me. He goes, all right, we're ready for you. I'm like, oh, all right, Mr. DeMille. And he's like, he's like, all right. He goes, so this is what you're going to do. He goes, you're just going to listen to these guys and you're going to react. And I want you to just kill them the way you want to kill them. And I'm like, what does that mean? I have no idea what's happening. I haven't been with you for the last 6 days. You're dropping me in. I have no context. And, he basically said, he tells me what the gist of the story is. And we filmed the scene. And, the improv, the touching a Randy on the face was just I had no idea. By the way, you talk about improving. I had no idea that Randy was going to come at me. So that whole thing totally improv. I had no idea that Alex had told him, or maybe you just decided on your own to come at me. And no, it's fine. I mean, and so that was my reaction. And then I walked in, and it's funny because I don't know if you remember this, Alex, but you said to me, you were like, that was awesome, but I'd love for you to give it to him harder. And you and I went off in the corner, and I said to him, I go, here's the thing. I go, if I give it to him harder, I go, if I really go at him, I go, nobody's going to believe it. I can't be that big of a dick. I'm already telling him that's no good, but I want him to succeed. And you actually said to me, Alex, you were like, you know what? You're right. And we left it at that. But that was such an unbelievable moment for me when Randy came at me, because you talk about that gift. Rob, you talked about it earlier, that gift of having to go on the fly, and that gift as an actor to go on the fly and be surprised in the moment. That was a gift that Randy gave me. You know what I mean? I don't act as much as you guys do. I did back in the day, did a lot of theater and everything like that. And the best thing in theater is when somebody forgets their line and has to fucking improv in that moment, and you have to react off of that in real time. So the audience has no idea that was a mistake. Right. And, when Randy did that, I was like, because Alex, you just told me, you're like, you just walk after you give it to him, walk out. So I just went to go walk out, and then freaking Randy comes at me with this, this great thing. And I was like, what a gift, And instead of blasting him back, it was just that, I hope you do.
Oh, and it was heartbreaking, man. Brutal. Like just watching it, it was just like, oh fuck.
That is
fuck.
That is.
But you believe my character means that, right? I mean, you believe that. Like I'm saying, like I want you to succeed. I want you to prove me wrong. I want you to see me at the Uptown Downtown Film Festival 10 years from now and go, motherfucker, you should have taken a bet on me. That's that moment. You know what I mean? And I think, Alex, this is what you and I talk about all the time with your podcast and with Stage 32 and all that, is that we want to see people succeed.
Yeah.
We know that those people that don't know, they don't know. So sometimes when you eviscerate somebody or you go after somebody, it's with tough love. It's not with, it's not to cause harm. And I think that's the beauty of that scene.
And I think that moment when you touch him on the cheek is like, I hope you do. That's the equivalent of Empire Strikes Back. I love you. I know. I mean, it's literally, it's that moment. Now, I think are you guys close to the Robert Peters?
We're almost there. We're watching
I'm there now.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there.
I'm watching Rob and Randy on the stairs. It's a great scene.
So, all right, Robert, this is your moment, sir.
We can hear you, Robert.
We can hear you, Robert. You
can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
I put on my
Such
jacket.
a great scene. Such a great scene.
Such a beautiful scene. It's
Robert,
so great.
By the way, the story of Robert being in this movie was this: where Robert was staying in, he's friends with Adam, and he was staying at the condo, and he kept saying, "Hey, man, do you have a part for me somewhere in the movie?" I'm like, "Yeah, Robert. It's too busy. I can't right now." And then we kept going and going, and then I'm like, "Oh, Adam, we need this one guy. He dropped out." I'm like, "Well, how about Robert?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's use Robert." And I honestly, at that point, I hadn't looked you up on IMDb yet, Robert. And then I looked you up. I was like, "Holy cow! I can't believe he's just been sitting here. This amazing actor has just been sitting here in this room with me all this time." And he was right under my nose. And then, I mean, I know when you came out, but what was your experience shooting this out there? Besides, it was cool.
Well, yeah, it was. I remember thinking there were so many great warm. What if I turn off this one thing? That'll help. Let me see one thing. Hold on one second. I may lose you completely. I'm gonna try this.
Sorry, I had to mute Robert.
I think
know.
Robert was saying it was awesome.
Well, okay, all right, try him now. See if it works.
We'll see. Okay.
Can you
go for it?
Can you see me?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, okay. Good. All right,
I can't see you guys, but I turned the other one off. That's what it was. I was just doubly in the room. Anyway,
all right,
what I was going to say is, I was thinking of all the warm people, of all the warm places we could shoot this scene, and then of course we were out in the middle of the freezing cold, and but I loved, as it's kind of already been mentioned, Alex's spontaneity. It was just I didn't even know what we were doing, even as we got out there. I mean, even as we started the scene, I didn't, and it just kind of came together, and Sonia was amazing. And just
she killed it.
It was very just serendipitous. And I will say too, the fact that we were all in the condo, and Adam was a friend of mine, but also, Chris, you may know, Mervish and I did something very similar in Germany. We had made a totally improvised film called Half Empty, and I had been in his other one of his other films, Open House. But we made a musical kind of similar to Alex's film in that we just had no script and just winged it and shot it during the festival in Oldenburg.
Awesome. Wow. And then of course that backdrop, that kind of eyes wide shut backdrop that we had with the lights in the background.
It was beautiful, lights. Man.
And Austin was. I mean, it really was. And I was when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this is like wow.
Yeah. It took us hours to get those Christmas lights up, right, guys? Hours to get that stuff up.
Production designer was amazing.
Oh my God!
It's such a warm scene, Robbie. You're so great in that scene. It really is. You're so good in that. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's like that out of the blue, like sort of, oh God, like one. It's a they reference it, but I mean, It's a Wonderful Life kind of thing. But you embrace that in such a way that it couldn't be better. It couldn't be better.
It was. I was so blessed to have. I mean, how lucky was I to have everybody in the movie? But literally, Robert just like sleeping in the next room, and I just like, yeah. In a minute. I can't right now. We're in the middle because I was in such a. I mean, just trying to get everything done. Oh, and if everyone listening, we were making this movie on the side. I was still doing interviews for the podcast. So this was not like the only thing we were doing. I told him, like, guys, we got to stop shooting. I got to go interview this producer for this show.
And
I think Alex is. It's a testament to any great director when directors, actors collectively say that they had no idea what the fuck they were doing.
If we can come to a theme of the evening, is that no one knew what they were doing, but somehow, magically in post-production, everything is fixed.
Everything came together.
Everything listening could be fixed. Everyone listening, all filmmakers listening, it could all be fixed in post.
Yeah.
It could all be fixed in post.
You know, Alex, I was thinking back to, I think this was even before we started the casting process. One of the first conversations we had, I remember I asked you, I was like, what is your goal with this film? And you said, I just want to leave something behind for filmmakers so that, they can watch this one day and say, hey, you know what? If you have a dream to make your film, like, just do it, right? And you may get no's, but you have to keep persevering. And I just thought to myself, like, you know what? To be a part of something like that, as someone who loves what they do and feels honored to be a part of this crazy business, I was like, that's so awesome. To like leave something behind that filmmakers can watch for God knows how long and be like, yeah, you know what? Freaking, I'm going to go shoot a film. Why not? And last thing I want to say about that, you, as, the creator of Indie Film Hustle, the fact that you preach so much to the people, your audience about going to do it, like, you showed people, hey, I don't just say this. I went and actually did it. And like that, I thought was really awesome.
I appreciate that. Jim. I mean, I wanted to show everybody that it can just go be done. I mean, we did this with like very, very, very little money and shot it in 4 days, 36 hours. It was insane.
Yeah, and I want to give another plug that Chris said at the top of this thing. You really did capture the quintessential essence of Sundance. And I've seen other people try to do this.
Thanks, man.
You covered so many elements of Sundance that I thought was just amazing.
I appreciate that. It was a love letter to Park City, because Sundance is that girl at the club or at the dance who will not dance with you, though she winks at you and you think you have a shot, and that's what Sundance is. And so
I don't understand that.
I understand. I know you don't understand. Like this, it's beyond you, RB. I understand.
That's for regular guys like us.
That's regular guys. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that the rest of us feel the same way. I feel like this is only an Alex problem. I feel like everybody else is kind of scratching their heads right
now. I'm the only one that struck out with girls when I was younger. You're right.
I feel like everybody else is going like, wait, what?
Let the therapy begin.
The irony, though, that Alex is actually married, though. I don't know if any of the rest of us are married, so he did something right.
Is no one else married here? Oh my God, that's right. No one else is married.
I think we're. Oh, Randy. Actually, so here's what's funny.
I got married in 2019.
I married Randy and his wife. I became ordained to marry Randy and his wife.
Yeah.
Randy, which website? Which website did you get it from?
He got it from OnlyFans.com.
Got it.
You're the big winner right there, man. That's it. You just won the internet.
Where are we? Where are you guys now?
We're standing in front of Desire or
credits.
Yeah, we're at the credits, right? So I wanted to end the movie with a star wipe. I had to end the movie with a star wipe.
And the bloopers. The bloopers are great.
Of course, the
bloopers. That's right.
Anytime I do these kind of like credits at the end, I think all of my films have had these kind of credits in the end. It's my homage to Predator. I don't know why I love what Predator did that with all the cast and everyone's like, see, I don't know why I've always loved doing that. Yeah. And then anytime I do a comedy, I'm like, you got to put bloopers. You've got to put bloopers. And there was very few because we really didn't break very often, and we really didn't screw up very often because we didn't have the time. So, but whatever little things we had, we used. And there's Straw, by the way. There's Straw. I wanted to put him in the movie. There's Straw. No, but the whole movie, guys, is a love letter to Park City and specifically to filmmakers, independent filmmakers, and to kind of show them how ridiculous we all are in our insanity to be in the business, but yet to give them some sort of hope, because you have to be a bit insane to do this. I mean, you have to. It's there's much better ways to make money in this world than what we do. Much better ways. But I wanted to just kind of poke fun and to kind of set up a mirror to all those independent filmmakers that we know and ourselves. Like when she's walking down the street in Sundance trying to figure out her life, that was me 2005. I literally walked that same path going, oh my God, what's going to happen? Am I in the right path? What am I doing here? I think everybody's had that come to Jesus moment in their career where you just go, is this worth it? Is the pain worth it? Should I keep going? And I just thought it was so ironic that it happened in Sundance when I had one of those many times. But yeah, and this is and I wanted to make sure I put the moment in where everyone just cracked on the star wipe. And Randy was like holding it, and he's like, "No, you broke first, Alex. You broke first."
You know, one of the things, Alex, you said to me when you first were conceiving this too is, you know, we talked about the other side of it to tell people that it was possible and everything like that. But one of the initial things that you said to me at the beginning, I don't know if you remember this, was that you wanted to show how not to behave as well. Like you wanted to show how, you know, and I was saying this, you got knocked off again with the two cans of string. But we were talking about how you and I on all of your podcast, all the podcast experiences I've had, thankfully to you, and all the stuff that I do, we talk about the idea of anyone that's been in this business for more than 5 minutes can identify somebody that hasn't been in the business for 5 minutes within 30 seconds. And, you know, it's that thing that you got to realize that, you know, this is for everybody who's just listening in the audience that might be involved in the business. And I'm sure that there are a ton of Alex listeners that are listening, is that really how you carry yourself is an important part of the lesson of this movie as well. And, you know, that everybody is looking to accomplish something and everybody has goals. And by the way, the person that you're pitching has people to answer to too. And, you know, at the end of the day, everybody's got a boss. And at the highest levels, when you sit there and go, yeah, well, not the CEO of the company. Guess what the CEO of the company has, or the CEO of the studio? They have the stockholders or the money. You know what I mean? So everybody's got a boss. So at the end of the day, it's like, you know, what's the value you bring? And I think that was one of the things that you told me earlier that you wanted to identify in this movie. And I think you did very well.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. And I tried because I wanted to kind of show a kind of a little bit of a roadmap on what not to do. Like you don't,
I think you did that.
You don't just go to the Uptown Downtown Film Festival and just talk to a producer and like, hey, if you're ever at Sundance, look me up and go, I've been invited to Sundance. And it's just a given that I've seen that happen. I think I might have done that at one point in my life or other early on in my career. It happens.
Can I tell that little aside about when you and I spoke together?
Yeah.
So Alex and I speak together at a lot of conferences and a lot of, you know, festivals and stuff like that. And we were on stage one night, basically going over, you know, best practices and, you know, what to do and what not to do. And, you know, one of the things that we basically said for like, it was like a 2-hour thing of like, don't just like, you know, stick something like exactly what happens in the movie, stick a phone with your trailer in front of somebody's face and whatever. And we did this for 2 hours. And at the end of it, there was a line of people, as it happens when you get done, you know, speaking, there's people, you know, want to talk to you and everything. And Alex and I went to the front of the stage, and the first person that came up was like, I have this script that's like, and like, can I send it to you guys? And I looked at Alex and we both were like, were you here from the beginning? And they were like, oh yeah, I was one of the first people in the room. I'm like, dude, what were you listening to for the 2 hours? So it's like, you know, again, at the end of the day, it's best practices and best behaviors. And it's like, you know, you got to know, man, you got to know how it all operates at the end of the day. And, you know, again, that's what you told me you wanted to do with this film. And I think you did it brilliantly.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And can I say one thing in regards to the movie that they're trying to sell, which I went back and forth. I'm like, should I shoot a trailer? I'm like, I'll never make a trailer bad enough that will look like what I think it's in my head. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just do sound design. And that's exactly what I did. I just gave my sound design guy, I'm like, this is what I want. I want gears cranking. I want kissing. I want the most ridiculous over-the-top music. I want all of this kind of stuff. And for those, I don't know if you remember the pitch, which I knew the pitch, but I think we all came up with the title. I think all the actors, we all sat down in the condo and like, what do we name this? And we started throwing some stuff around. And I don't know why it's such a mental block for me. I can't remember the full title. I know Persephone is in it,
Yeah.
but I don't know the whole title. And it was like the battle for Persephone, something, I can't remember it.
Yeah, it was something. Yeah, it was the battle of something. I can't remember. It was very obnoxious.
It was just so obnoxious because it's only said like once or twice in the entire movie. But the pitch is still my favorite pitch of all times. It's Shape of Water meets E.T. with a little Transformers drizzled on top. And what I really want is a French New Wave thing, but I really want to be in the Criterion Collection. And that was the whole thing. That's why I think, I don't know if you saw it, Chris. I know I sent it to everybody else at one point. Was a mocked up Criterion Collection Blu-ray with Ego and Desire on it.
Yeah, yes, I've seen that.
I throw it out there every once in a while, just to kind of tease people to like. Hopefully, someone at Criterion one day I'll get to a place in my career where they'll go back to it and go, you know what, we want to bring this to Criterion. I'm like, oh, that would be so ironic.
Oh, man.
That's great.
It was such an amazing experience, guys, doing this with all of you. I would do it again. And a couple people asked me, when are you going to do the sequel? So this is what I'm planning to do. If everyone is game, I'm going to announce it here.
Oh.
Every 10 years, I want to get back together with the crew, a la Before Sunrise, and we're going to go and we're going to see where these characters are in their life, and we'll go to another festival and try that. So we'll go to Cannes next. And then maybe we'll go to Berlin or something like that. Something along those lines. I want to just do something similar again and show that. And because it's not just young filmmakers. There's old guys who are just as stupid and completely out there as young filmmakers. So I want to see where these guys go and have some fun with it. So we'll see. Maybe in 2028. We'll see where we are in the world, and maybe we'll get together and shoot something in 4 days.
Alex, it'll be like Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy Before Sunrise, before midnight.
I want to do that. And of course, everybody has to come back in some way, shape, or form. If we can get everybody, Robert, obviously RB, maybe Chris can make a cameo this time. This would be great.
I think you should do it. I think you should do it earlier. I think you should do it post-pandemic.
Agreed. 5 years is good.
5 years is good.
Why are you putting that pressure on me now? Now I got to think about this.
Dude, it's so great. And you could actually even just think of the backstory of what's happened to these characters like since the first film was made. You know, the relationships that have been severed, and I'm never talking to so-and-so again, and I can't believe. And then the trio kind of come back together or are forced to on a panel. Maybe they're on a panel at some events, you know what I mean? And they got to be polite and like this sort of, lost opportunity at Sundance that went awry. I could see it dude, every 5 years, I think 5 years seems right.
I love how he says this pressure, like we're putting this pressure on this artist. Like I watched Sidney Lumet the other night, like the documentary on Sidney Lumet. Like he did like 50 films in 30 years. Like you're like Lady Gaga. Like you're going to release an album every 7 years.
Yeah, do it. Kubrick, sir. Every 10 to 12 years, I release a new film. So,
Alex. So next time, Julia and Johnny will come back as a couple again. They get back together.
Yeah. All things are open. I mean, maybe we'll do it at the South by this year. That time,
Randy will come back as a major a-hole, his true self.
Yeah. I want Randy to go on a murder spree.
that Randy has been arrested, accused of murder, and like, we can go. We can have a fun time with the characters. I gotta sit down and think about what would happen to these. I'm dying to see where Sonia ends up. I'm dying where all of you guys end up.
Yeah, think about it for a few minutes and then tell your actors to just make it up.
Yeah, that works. We can figure it out.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. And we could have Robert be kind of like that Obi-Wan Kenobi, but like as a ghost.
So I was going to say, he's like a hologram.
But I still want to know. I still want to know who's in the film, and maybe I'll buy it this time. Maybe
or maybe Robert's on a Zoom call because everything's a Zoom call.
Yeah, I know. God, we should film the whole. We should make. So let's just do this. Let's just film the entire thing over Zoom. Let's just make the entire feature.
Doesn't anybody that was watching have questions? Nobody has questions.
But there were a lot of questions through the whole thing.
No.
Yeah, they were popping up.
You didn't
maybe there'd be more.
Pop it up.
I'm sorry.
I don't know. We got nothing to do. I mean,
there are a lot of questions popping up, but since the movie's over, people are kind of taking off.
They're taking off. All right.
Yeah. I think we should wrap it up.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you
Final
so much.
thoughts. I want to thank everybody for doing this. This was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
I didn't get to say hi earlier, but you know, we met years ago, and it's great to be here. And I appreciate you doing this, and I appreciate you being a supporter of Alex and the film and everything else that you've done through the years. I mean, it means a lot. It means a lot, and I'm extremely grateful for it. I mean, for years. I mean, I'm not just talking about tonight. I'm talking about everything you've done for a very long period of time for the independent film scene, for filmmakers, for film in general. I'm very grateful. So thank you.
And if I could tell my Chris Gore story, in the year of Sundance 07, I think the shirt that he's wearing, I was at Slam Dance, a young filmmaker, much younger than I am now. And I was closer to Julia than I am now in the way I acted and thought. And Chris was in the bar at the Slam Dance building, and you were covered with a bunch of people all over you. And I remember coming by, and I said hi, and you said hi, and I told you this story when y'all was on your podcast, and you were like, "Was I nice to you? Was I nice to you?" I'm like, "Yes, you were. You were nice to me." But it was such a thrill to meet you because I was such a big fan of you from G4 and everything you've done over the years. It's such a thrill to was on your show, and having this done through Film Thread is actually a big dream come true. So thank you not only for this, but for everything you've done, being a champion of filmmakers over the years, man. I mean, you were doing it when it was not in vogue. It wasn't the cool thing to support independent filmmakers, and you've been doing it for such a long time. So I am very grateful for everything you've done over the years to help filmmakers, man. So thank you again for everything. I
appreciate it, Alex. And Gacci, man, thank you. Like what you've built up with Indie Film Hustle, dude. Just the podcast, the YouTube content, the book, Rise of the Filmtrepreneur. That's a book that had to be written that explains how to actually make money doing this and make a living. I've recommended that book to a lot of people. They're just like, that's the book that you need to get. Yeah, film school, but get that book. Because that'll get you to think about the right things, which is how do you monetize, the life of being an indie filmmaker. And people just think, well, I'll just sell the movie at Sundance. That's not the solution. You have to have your backup plan.
But you and Chris, you and I were talking about this early. Is Sundance even relevant as relevant it was? It's not anywhere near as relevant as it was during the heyday of the 90s.
No way.
2005, 2007. I really kind of think in the last few years, I really think that the power has sort of been more diversified amongst a lot of other smaller festivals. I think that's really what it is. And that's probably a good thing. I mean, I've had a film on the festival circuit that played like 40 festivals. We didn't play Sundance, but we talked to a lot of people there. So I really relate to the film, and I love the idea of every 5 years doing a follow-up, maybe every 4 years, whatever you decide.
Just stop it.
Maybe every 2 years.
In about a year and a half, I got to start.
How about every 6 months? I mean,
how about we start tonight? How about we start tonight right here? Now we're on a live chat, and we're talking about Randy and Rob's film and Sonia's film that came out, and we're all like killing it here on the live chat.
Alex,
it's your opening scene.
Alex,
your opening scene.
It's got to be that our film just hit it huge, and we're like really big assholes now. That's what it's got to be. Like this crappy film just made it big, and now it's like us on the flip side, and RB's coming to us for a job now.
No, actually, what would be more 2021 than you guys hit it big and you spend the entire movie tracking me down to tell me to go fuck myself. That would be 2021 in a nutshell.
Send the contract. I'm signing up.
And can you see Randy? You're like, hey, I made it. And you give him a slap on the face.
Yeah, slap me in the face.
Like how about Randy has like an ascot? He has to have an
Oh
ascot.
God,
He has to have an ascot.
He has to.
that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
No, yes, no, we could definitely.
And just before I hop off, I just want to say thank you to everybody because this pandemic has not been easy, and I really miss going to festivals and being in person and seeing people. But just having this, I look so forward to it. So thank you. It's really good to see everybody's faces, and hopefully by this time next year, we'll be in a better place where we can actually be in person again.
Together.
Yeah.
I miss human touch from other than my family. Just like sometimes I look at like a movie theater now, like a scene in a movie that everyone's in a movie theater. I'm like, it's so weird. Like it's such a weird thing. I can't even think about Sundance, because it's like this. Like you can't even move. It's those parties. That party was in the movie. It's a super spreader event. That's what it looks like, a super spreader event. It's insane. But again, before we go, guys, thank you all for making this film what it is. Obviously, I'm the genius behind it, but other than that, and I saved all of your performances post. Obviously.
Of course.
No, but in all honesty, the movie is so much better for the people who are in it, and you guys helped me craft this thing and find the voice of these characters. And in RB's case, bust my balls left and right while we were making it and after we made it. But I do appreciate everything, and for all of you going on the ride, because none of you knew if this was going to work, including me. None of us knew if this was going to be a movie at the end of this. And then you just, everyone just like, yeah, I believe in whatever craziness you're going to do. Let's just go down this road. And I know everybody who saw it, I know in RB, when RB came over and watched, I had a screening for him and Amanda, he was floored that we had a movie. Like, he was just like, I can't, it's like a movie. It's like a real movie.
Yep.
I think it's just something that's I think is very eloquent in a lot of ways, is that, independent film, the beauty of independent film is trust. Yeah. What Sonia said earlier about the fact that, she came out there on blind faith. She had never met you before. She had spoken with you, but she had never met you before. Rob and Randy talked about the fact that they didn't know Sonia, and, they or maybe one of you did, but
very little. Very little. I knew Sonia. Like, Sonia is a friend of mine. Randy was a friend of mine.
Right.
We had never acted together.
We had never done anything together. So
Randy and Sonia had never connected or worked together. So we were really fresh in that sense, in terms of working together.
And there's blind faith in that.
Yeah.
And there's trust. And, like I said, when Alex called me, I was like, I don't even need to hear it. What do you want? There's trust, right? There's that thing. And I think that's the beauty of independent film. And that's, Chris, what you were at the forefront of for so long, and what you spoke about for so long, is that this is the power, right? Everybody thinks about the studio system, and they think about these $200 million movies, and they don't realize this is like 1%, if maybe less, of the content that's being produced on an annual basis. And the rest is being made by people like Alex and a million other directors and visionaries. And I'll use that word because I do believe in it. And that's the power. I think that's where the power comes from. And, I'm sure if Alex goes from this film and then directs like a Looper, he probably will sell himself out to go do the multi-million-dollar thing. But right now, he's just an honest fucking filmmaker full of love. But that's the thing. I mean, the power in independent film, just to put a bow on this, the power in independent film is in the trust in the visionary and in the content. And I think that is the purest form of cinema that we have today. And it is in TV right now, of course. There's obviously that it's in narrative TV, but in independent films like this is where the power lies. So I would say to you, if you're watching this film tonight and you enjoyed yourself and you had a great time, share it. Tell other people about it. Let people know that there is this great fucking thing that they can watch on Amazon Prime, in between ordering their groceries and, their iBomb. And, from Amazon Prime, they could watch this thing. And it was made by people that really gave a shit about cinema.
And welcome to independent filmmaking.
Yeah.
Hey.
And last thing, if Kevin Fahey, you're watching, just call me. I'm available. I'm completely available for the next Avengers. So
well, thank you everybody for doing this. This was a pleasure. I'm a
thank
big
you.
fan of this movie. I've watched it multiple times.
Thank you
Just
so
for
much.
fun to have it on to remind me of that Sundance experience, and just thank you everyone. I can't wait for another watch party when the sequel comes out.
Ah, the sequel. Right?
In 2 short years.
Yeah.
Before,
The pressure.
2 years.
Before we go, we got to get the promise from Alex. We're
Yeah.
going to do a sequel, yes? Because if
You want-
Alex,
I want to do a sequel. I would love to do it like at South by or something like that. I need or a Cannes or something like that. I think
I was
it
going
would
to say, why don't we go a little further? Why don't we go to Cannes? Why don't we go?
Well,
there?
I've never been to Cannes, so it's going to be really adventurous. I would definitely need you, RB, to guide me through it because
Done.
I can help too. I can help too. I've been a few times.
I'll go. I mean, assuming we can go in like 2 years.
Okay.
all right. Well, if everything opens up, we're on.
Three and a half years, guys. Come on, give me a break.
All right.
No.
Hey,
No
look,
breaks.
they just moved this year's version. They just moved May to July, so you got to be ready by July this year.
Go.
Amazing, guys. A pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Chris.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Come by every Friday. Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific time. We do watch parties. Join us here at Film Thread for our next watch party is Beast Mode. Beast Mode, an incredibly clever horror film. James Duval is in it. He's going to be here. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you, everybody. Peace out.
Peace out,
Thank you,
guys.
Chris.
Peace out, man.
Thank you.